Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of The Trevor Ohlsen Show, episode number 26. On Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, I am your host, Trevor Ohlsen. Welcome, new listeners to the show. Welcome, the old listeners of the show. It's a pleasure to have you along for the ride, for the journey, for the next hour journey that you and I are about to go through together. Something I have not planned or thought of or scripted or really given any sort of cognitive thought to. I sat down today and I go, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about today, and I have an hour to fill as usual. But fortunately for you, I'm a raging narcissist and love the attention and love hearing myself in these headphones. So welcome aboard to the Trevor Ohlsen Show. The Trevor Ohlsen Show. What's happening? What is going on in your life? I'll tell you what's going on in mine. I have spent the last 5 days hanging out at my sister's place, watching movies and just stuffing my face with food. I'm moving in at this point. They've asked me to just move in. They said I should just stay. It's been really fun, actually. It's the end of the year. I feel myself slipping a little bit from a disciplinary standpoint. Like I had a donut yesterday. I had a cookie before dinner. Like I'm 8. And I feel I'm letting myself go. Not really. But it's the end of the year and it's the holidays. Everyone gains like 15 pounds. I'm not going to gain any weight because I can't gain weight. But I also am at the gym all the time, so that's why. But with the album pretty much finished now, I'm experiencing what some would call an existential crisis or a identity crisis, because it's like that's been my life for the last 8 months, and now it's gone. It's done. Like I designed the album cover yesterday, got back the shots. What do I do now? I know what to do now. It's time to move on. Apart from marketing and promoting the album and getting it out there, and I still have to design it and do all the boring business stuff, which I enjoy doing. It's time for me to just move on to the next creative project. So yesterday I sat down and started writing again, which felt great. Felt great to write. I haven't really written over these long time, 8 months. Crazy. That's a really long time to go without writing as a songwriter. I've written a few songs throughout, one that ended up on the album and one that's a collaboration. But I just found myself having to have like laser beam focus on the mixing and the recording, and I felt as if I threw writing in there as well, that my mixes and the album itself wouldn't come out as good, because there'd be too much going on. I'd be like diluting the water, so to speak. And so I focused primarily on the mixing, the recording, the adding, the subtracting, everything that I've been doing for the last 8 months. I focused primarily on that, and I didn't write hardly at all. So I got back yesterday, mate. I got back into it yesterday. I just wrote a chorus. That was all I wrote because I had some other things going on. What's a fucking excuse, Trevor? It is an excuse, but I'm going to get back to it. Don't judge me. Trevor, no one's judging you. Why are you yelling? So it felt good to write. It felt really good to write. Let's see if I can share with you what I wrote yesterday. I'd like to do that. I don't even remember if I remember how this goes. Oh, my neighbor's here. I love my neighbor. But when her and my mom get together, they shout like a couple of psychos, and so you might hear some in the background. Let me play this for you. Here we go. All right. A rare studio guitar appearance on the music appearance on the podcast. Yeah, don't judge this, you sick fuck. Okay, here we go. Oh. right, let's see how it goes. Run away with me tonight. Say you love me with those eyes. Drive me wild with that smile. Say you'll be here till the end. Even when we're old and thin, we've got nothing left to do. But I'll do nothing if nothing's still with you. Pretty tasty, right? I'm a sucker for writing love songs. I love it. I love it because it's like I've been in love, as I'm sure you have too. But I write about. I enjoy. I don't know. I mean, I'll write about anything. I'll write where the song takes me. It's like that's what came out of me yesterday. I had no plan, no melody, nothing, and that's. I spent I don't know, 20 minutes on that, and came up with it. It could be better, but I'm not. I don't even know what it is yet. So I'm not going to judge it. But I'm excited about it, and it felt really, really good to write that. And I think the melody is really beautiful, and I think the lyrics are really beautiful as well. I'm like a sucker for what? It's fun to write songs about the part of love that's like blissful, and that's what most songs are written about. There's songs written about the difficult aspects of love and the breakups. I've written plenty about that. But it's really fun to write about the blissful parts of love. It's the type that it's when you're so in love, you see nothing wrong with the other person, and they see nothing wrong with you, and it's like doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is gonna happen in life. It's like you guys will get through it because you are so hooked into one another, and we've all had that feeling, unless you're like 12, and I don't think there's any 12-year-olds listening. So I really enjoy writing about that part of love. Because that part of love disappears. Now, it changes. It doesn't disappear. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It changes into a more deeper love, a more appreciative love, a more, like, doesn't matter what flaws you have, because I have them too, I still want to be with you. I still want to work things out with you. It's the transition from romantic, that like heavy romantic sexual love, to a more, like I just said, appreciative love, to a deeper love, to a I've got your back love. And I know you have mine too. And so, but I really love writing about that romantic part where it's like everything is amazing, because it's an amazing feeling. Love is a drug, man. It is, but love is it's a beautiful thing, and it's just fun to write about it. And so that's kind of what it was. I mean, listen to those lyrics. Like it's almost like a teenage love. It's like the lyrics are, run away with me tonight, say you love me with those eyes, drive me wild with that smile, say you'll, and like all that, drive me wild with that smile, say you love me with your eyes, run away with me. It's like, that's total romantic love. Say you'll be here till the end, promise me, or I will fucking cause your life misery. Say you'll be here till the end, even when we're old and thin and we've got nothing left to do, but I'll do nothing if nothing's still with you. I will live a shit life as long as you are by my side, honey. We can be fucking broke, but as long as we have each other and we love each other, we'll be fine. Actually, Harold, we need money, you lazy bastard. But I love you. Love is not enough. And that's the reality. There's a great book called Love Is Not Enough by Mark Manson. He's the one who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And Everything is Fucked, a book about hope, which I haven't read that one yet. And I also read his book called Models, which I strongly recommend for younger people who have a hard time expressing themselves, like to the opposite sex or to like the dating realm. The book is all about, the title is Models, like attract women through honesty, but it's for both. It's for men and women. He expresses that right in right in the beginning of the book. But the idea is like it's to stop performing for people, stop trying to impress people, stop being so emotionally attached to the outcome of things, stop pretending, and just be open and honest and be vulnerable with the person. Again, not to impress them but simply to have an honest conversation with them. And it's a really great book, and a lot of dudes, especially. Everyone's guilty of this. It's like we try to impress women. We try to impress the opposite sex, and it's a form of performance, which in the book he suggests that's a poor thing to do. Like it's not good. It's better just to be open and honest and vulnerable and be willing to be a bit more polarizing and express your thoughts and feelings and share your stories and your motivations honestly. Again, not with the intent of impressing them, but with the intent of sharing with them and opening up to them. And hopefully, if they have a maturity level similar to you, they'll do the same. And so that's a really great book if anyone's out there looking for love. I can't find it, though. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong, Teddy? Well, Jimbo, you're performing, you dummy. You're performing. Just be vulnerable with them. Be honest. What if they don't like me? Fuck them. Huh? Are you sure, Teddy? I'm sure. Fred, what was his name? No idea. That book's really good. And then Love Is Not Enough is really good. Because we get really, I do at least, or I have in the past. I was just talking about this with a friend yesterday. I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I think I'm partially wrong with saying what I'm about to say because I haven't given it enough thought. And I'm talking about myself here. But I guess that when I get in relationships, I get really into them and I want to, just like anything else I do, I want to really do my best at them. And I don't know if... See, I really haven't thought this through. I don't know if that... I mean, that's what a good relationship, a real relationship depends on. Each people, each person, each party, each group. Because we're having orgies here. Each group, all right, this group's going to fuck this way. This group's going to suck that way. This one's anal. Okay. Obviously, for a relationship to work, both people have to be 100% in. I just haven't been with someone that's been 100% in yet. And that's okay, because I'm like a 13-year-old child. I'm 25. I'm fine. I'm okay. I don't need it right now. I'm really happy with how things are going. Would I like to be in a relationship? Do I miss things about being in relationships? I do. I like the fact that you have someone to lean on, someone to like confide in. Someone, I mean, obviously sex, that's nice. But it's really more about, it's deeper than that. It's like a connectedness with someone. You guys know what I'm talking about. And, it's really, really, it's a beautiful part of life and every person needs to experience it. And I hope to experience it as deeply as possible in the future with whoever lucky lady I marry, who, God willing, it is a good marriage. I would, but this is coming from single Trevor, who isn't in love with anyone. So it's like the idea of marriage. I'm not afraid. Like the idea of marriage doesn't scare me. I've seen it. I've been around it my whole life. Everyone in my family's married. Almost all of them are still married. Like there's one person in my family who's divorced. So it's like there's a very low divorce rate in the Ohlsen family line, fortunately. And I think that has to do with the fact that we have grown up with a Judeo-Christian ethic. And, once you marry someone, you're not supposed to divorce them. And you work it out. There's something to be said about that. Now, if you're in an abusive, horrific marriage, probably shouldn't have got in the first place. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is no matter how much you guys are at each other's fucking throats, it's like you work it out. You figure it out because it's and this marriage advice from the single 25-year-old, okay? All I know is that you have to communicate, you have to work things out, and the idea of marriage is beautiful in that no matter what shitstorm comes, we're gonna work it out, all right? We might hate each other temporarily, but love each other simultaneously as well. And I think that's better than just calling it quits on things. A lot of people get married and they just call it quits. Now, I don't think you should rush into marriage. Like, I want to like this. Why do I always say like and and I don't want to rush into marriage. Like, I don't want to rush into it. I want to meet that person, develop a relationship with them, and there's no need to rush, so to speak. For me, yeah, there's no need to rush. And so I'd like to get to know that person, grow with them. And I don't know. I guess I'm thinking out loud right now. All I know is that I value what marriage is, and I look forward to being married someday, Lord willing, with an amazing woman who's good to me and I'm good to her. And we can have a little familia, a little family. Because the meaning of life is found in the eyes of a child. Is it not? I see no better love than the love that my sister has for her daughters. Especially when they're babies. It's like, it's the most, me and my dad were talking about it. It's the most beautiful, pure love that we feel exists on earth. Like seeing my niece, who's 8 months, look into my sister's eyes with pure joy and love and trust and innocence, and my sister just to be marveling back at her in pure love and awe and wonder and joy. It's really, really, really beautiful. And I just was watching them do that, and I thought, that's what life is about. This is a deep one today. I was like, as important as other aspects of your life are, like your career and feeling like you have meaning and purpose, it's children. I think that's the purpose, like family. Like, you want a purpose in life, have a child, and that you will have purpose. Unless you're fucked up and you can't get your own shit together. Get your shit together. What are you doing? You're 30 and you're a wreck. You're drinking too much. You're lazy. You haven't even learned how to dress yet. Grow up. The 25-year-old's telling you to grow up. Well, yeah. So I saw that connection with them, and I wrote it down. I was like, the meaning of life is found in the eyes of a child, and I truly believe that. I think you of course can find meaning in other things, but there's a profound depth to having children, and I think it's more important than your career. I think arguably, if you ask 100 people the question of what's more important, family or your job, 99 out of 100 are going to say your family. And if someone would say their job, they're probably really young and really focused and be like, they'd have to first off love what they're doing. Like, I really love what I'm doing. So I'm getting older now. And not older, but I am understanding, like, my values are changing. My values are shifting. And I do see how I've always been super, super focused on my music. like laser vision focused. And now I include this podcast in that focus now. Like, it's just part of like the creative things that I do. I view my creativity through a very narrow lens, I guess. And I guess that I when I was younger, you couldn't have told me that having a family is going to be more fulfilling than having a successful career. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe. Like I said, I'm thinking out loud here today, as I do. As you know the show. But as I get older, I'm seeing, of course, the importance of your career. And fortunately, I feel really, really, really connected with what I do. And Lord willing, it's going to keep growing and keep getting, I'm going to hopefully get better at the podcast and get better at the music. And as long as I keep showing up and doing the work, I know I will. So Lord willing, it's going to keep growing. So I'm super into that, and I'm very grateful that I enjoy what I do, and I think maybe that's why I've been so focused on it, is that I love it, and I'm 25, and I've been thinking about it for a long, long time, and not thinking about it. I've been working on it for a really long time. We're getting comfortable today. I've been working on it for a really long time. I started writing songs when I was 14 years old. I've had this dream of being a successful artist since then. And fortunately, no one said that I was fucking crazy. And so I pursued it. You know, I had support. I had encouragement. Whenever I showed my family my works, my creations when I was really young, they'd say, like, good job, keep doing it. Why the fuck is that shaking so much? There we go. A little more. There we go. That's better. And let's see. Less shaky. Good. Okay. And so fortunately, I have that support system in place. Like they've always encouraged me. They've always said to keep going, and I've always believed that. I've always believed. At a young age, I've had a conviction at a very young age that as long as you keep taking shots, eventually you're going to make one. And then you're going to, after you make one, you just keep taking shots, and eventually you're going to make another. And those shots are going to add up to eventually where you're going to become a good player, and you're going to be able to make more shots and more often. Often? My mother throws a fit if you say often. There's a T there. But she has a point. I don't go around saying pneumonia. How should we spell pneumonia? Let's throw a P in there. Jimmy, you're drunk. No, let's throw a P in. Jimmy, it's pneumonia. It's not pneumonia. It's not pneumonia. Let's just fuck with them. Yeah? Trevor, I don't think you have an intellectual understanding of how the language works. I don't. But I always believe that as long as I just kept taking shots, as long as I kept showing up, as long as I keep going to the gym, as long as I keep writing songs, as long as I keep doing the podcast, as long as I keep working on my relationships, as long as I keep showing up, as long as I stay in the race of life, I will get better at it. And that's proven to be the case. That's just how it works. You practice. You get better. You keep showing up, and you especially show up on the days that you don't wanna. You might have a shit day, but that's okay because you're gonna show up tomorrow and do it again. And so it's really a simplistic way of looking at it, but I believe that from a very young age, and that sort of mentality has allowed me to get into the position that I'm in today, where I've made an album that I'm really proud of. I was touring last year. I've opened for some really cool bands. I started this podcast. I have a really great studio. I mean, it's like 14-year-old Trevor would be pretty pumped up about 25-year-old Trevor. Would be pretty excited. and I'm not where I want to be, and that's good. It's good to have a slight dissatisfaction with where you are. I'm not saying that you're not grateful, to not be grateful for where you are. And I've always believed, or maybe I've just convinced myself that it's a good way of looking at it. I've always believed that wherever you are in life, that's right where you're. See, I kind of don't believe it. But I used to think that. No matter where you are in life, you're right where you're supposed to be, and you can go from there. And I believe that in that sense, like no matter where you are, if you're high, if you're low, whatever position you're in life right now, it's the perfect starting point to start moving in the direction that you want to be going. And you know what? I do believe that. The only thing that I was second guessing or thinking about now as I've become a bit more, hopefully a little more intelligent, a little more thoughtful, is that I recognize the fact that I can squander my potential, as can everyone else. And so I'm sure that there's opportunities that I haven't taken in life that had I taken, I would be in a different place. But I don't betray my past self by focusing on the past, by living it with regret, because I really don't have any regrets that I, like if I do, they're very few, and I really would have to think about them. And so I do believe that we are all in the perfect starting position. Let's say that. No matter where you are, if you are making $100,000, $500,000 a year, you're in the perfect place to keep getting better. If you are a drug addict, homeless, and you're listening to this on an iPhone, that's the one bill you can afford, you're in the perfect position to start improving. So it doesn't matter where you are, like your choices have brought you into that position. And as long as you're aware of that, you can start moving in the direction that you want to move in. We're all where we're supposed to be. We are all where we are supposed to be. We're all in the perfect place to start moving in the direction that we want to move. Does that make sense? We're talking about love today. This is what happens when I have no plan. And I like it because I come in and I have a conversation with you guys. A lot of people say that it just feels like you would like if they like Trevor says the word like a lot. Fuck me. It's as if. Just start saying as if instead. Oh, it's as if. It's as if. Oh my God. She's as if pretty. Okay, it doesn't work. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah. I just like coming in with no plan. Hitting that record button. And this is what I was going to say. A lot of people have messaged me and said, I really enjoy the dialogical, conversational feel of the podcast. And those are the type of podcasts that I love. It's the podcast where it's like you're hanging out. That's why I love Rogan. That's why Rogan works. It's why Tim Dillon works. It's why Bill Burr works. They're not pretending. They're fucking around and having fun. They're doing it. They might be exaggerating themselves, like I do on this podcast. If that's what entertainers do, though, we elevate and exaggerate our personalities, and that it adds to the show. It's not pretending. It's not being fake. It's just adding an element to the show. And it's like you got to come out with energy and enthusiasm and excitement. It depends on the podcast. What am I saying? It depends on the show. What are the topics? What are we known for? You know, this is a twice weekly comedy podcast, so a lot of times I just fuck around on here and say crazy things that I don't believe. Which is kind of a conundrum for me because I try my hardest to be very careful in what I say throughout the day and throughout the week. Like, I try to express myself honestly and truthfully and really say what I mean. So, but then I was questioning myself on the podcast. I was like, well, I say a lot of crazy things on the podcast. So there's a loophole. It's just that I'm joking. A lot of things I say in here are jokes. And so I feel comfortable with that. Some people might misconstrue the fact, or they might not know the show, and they click on it and they go, this guy's fucking nuts. But they haven't read the description, twice weekly comedy podcast. So if they're not smart enough to figure that out, you know, well. All right, we're at the halfway point, folks. Time for some hydration. Little bit of hydration. Oh, I spilled the I woke up this morning. I'll get to the halfway point here soon. I woke up this morning, and we have a Keurig Duo K-cup thing. It makes the pot, and it makes the little K-cups. And there's a self-timer on there that I set at night I set it. And I prep it at like 9, 10 at night. And then I set it for 7:20 in the morning. I'm up at 7:30. So as soon as I get up there at like 7:35, coffee's all made, ready to go. It's fucking great. I recommend it. And there's a piece. It's this little round cup that holds the filter and the grounds, okay? And this cup, the filter has to go in there. So I got home a little later last night. I was at my sister's, like I said. I'm moving in. And I got home, and it was like 10:30, whatever it was. And it was kind of dark in the kitchen. And so I shoved the filter in the area where it goes, but the little holder wasn't in it. And the holder is the same color as where I put the coffee filter, so I didn't even notice it was missing. I've done this 3 times. That was my 3rd time doing it. And when the holder isn't in there, it makes a fucking mess. And so I got up this morning at 7:30, as I always do. Got upstairs right around 7:35. So the coffee maker's been trying to spit out coffee for the last 15 minutes without the proper elements that it needs. And coffee was everywhere. It was just dripping through. It was like dripping through. There was a little crack in our granite. Like, it was dripping through down into the wood. And we just got the cabinets done, and it was dripping onto the freshly painted cabinets. And I was like, oh, fuck me. And I almost, my morning could have gone 2 ways. I recognized this while I was taking a shower. And I almost did this. I could have looked at it like, because my mom, I'm sure it was my mom who took out the little part that I didn't put in there, and she washed it, okay? And I didn't notice that it was out, okay? And I almost went like, what the fuck? Why can't she just put it back in there after she cleans it? This is her fault. This isn't mine. Of course my day's going to start off this way. My day's going to be a shit day. That option came into my mind. As it does. It's easy to just go into that. But and then I took the coffee pot and I put it, or the coffee maker, the whole thing, because it was just fucking coffee all over it. I just put the whole thing in the sink. Just a mess. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to go outside and relax. I was like, my parents can deal with it. And I was about to walk out the door, and I was like, grow up, Trevor. What are you doing? Stop being lazy. Life's not out to get you. This is not her fault. It's not your mom's fault that she didn't put the coffee thing back in. It's your fault for not seeing it there. It's your fault for not putting it back in. So I was like, stop being lazy. Take responsibility for the fact that you fucked up the coffee thing, for making the coffee for the 3rd time. Clean it up. And get it all freshened up and fucking get it back together and make some more coffee for your parents when they get up so they don't have to deal with it. And so like those two options, it's like the angel and the devil. It's like, all right, you're either going to be lazy and complain and be victimized from this stupid little thing, or you're going to accept the fact that you messed up and you're going to take responsibility for it and clean it up and get it taken care of. And you're not going to blame life. You're not going to blame the day. The day's not going to be shitty because it started off the way that way. The day's going to be whatever I decide. And so I turned around. I cleaned everything up because it was a complete mess. I cleaned up the coffee maker. I wiped down the granite. First thing in the morning, I'm barely awake. I'm cleaning all this shit and getting it all taken care of. And I'm very glad I did, because that's such a trivial example, but it's an example of taking responsibility and not feeling victimized that like life wasn't out to get me. I just forgot to put the thing in. It's not my mother's problem. It's my problem. And so I took care of it. They don't even know that there was that huge mess this morning. So they don't have to. And they got up and they enjoyed their coffee because I took responsibility for the mess that I made. And their day is going to be better because they didn't wake up and get immediately on that frequency, so to speak. The frequency of, oh, fuck. Like if they would have got up and just seen a mess and a coffee pot everywhere, they would have been like, what the hell? Like, come on, you can clean this up. And so I took responsibility for it. I'm not preaching. I'm saying this was a very trivial example. All I'm saying is that we always have choices, and the choices are either going to be like be lazy and be victimized and blame external circumstances, or we can take responsibility for it and own up to the mistakes that we've made and deal with it and fix things ourselves. And so there's a really deep example of taking personal responsibility based on the coffee. Based on coffee. All right. All right, folks, we're beyond the halfway point. Got a little past it. If you're enjoying the show, I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out to the Trevor Ohlsen show, man. The email address is thetrevorolsenshow@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments, your concerns, your naked pictures, your nudes, to the Trevor Ohlsen Show@gmail.com. Send me what you're thinking, what's going on. Talk with me. I want to get to know you. The Trevor Ohlsen Show@gmail.com. And if you're digging the show, as I know you are, come on, you know you're digging it. If you're enjoying the show, I do a Patreon episode every Saturday. All right. You guys, today's episode is brought to you from Patreon. Not really, but that's what it's going to sound like. I do a Patreon episode every Saturday, exclusively on Patreon. So if people are interested enough in the show and they want to hear a little more, they can sign up on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, and they can gain access. And by they, I mean you. You can gain access to all the Patreon exclusive episodes, all the past episodes, all the future ones that will be coming up every Saturday, as little as $5 a month on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Just download the app, type my name in, go to the little Find Some Creators, man section, and type my name in, and you will see me. You will sign up, and people are signing up every week. Everyone's really loving it, which is great. I really put a lot of time and energy and effort into providing you guys with the best experiences that I can, just like I do on here. I'm going to always try my hardest to deliver you guys the best experiences that I can, whether they're silly or more introspective or more deep or whatever they may be. I'm always going to try my hardest. I'm always going to show up for you guys and deliver you guys the best possible show that I can. So if you're interested in signing up on Patreon, head over there, patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. You'll gain access to the Saturday exclusive episodes, the Patreon edition episodes. You'll gain access to daily inspirational messages. I'm on there every single day, getting you guys fired up, trying to help you guys to think of new concepts and ideas that are implementable into your life. Something to think about, something to ponder over, something to a little accept or disagree with, something to at least think about. You can also, when you sign up, get autographed pictures from me, naked pictures. No, just get how many? I get messages all the time. I just want naked pictures from you. It's like, hey, quit being a whore. Listen, you wouldn't say this to me if we were face to face. Don't let your facelessness turned you into a slut. You can get autographed clothes pictures from me. Also, you can get a handwritten letter from me when you sign up, and a t-shirt as well. The latest Trevor Ohlsen merchandise. And then, not only that, but you and I can also have opportunities to Skype together. I've Skyped with a good number of the patrons who have signed up at the tiers that offer that option, and it's one of my favorite things. It's one of their favorite things. Everyone who is signing up is loving everything they're getting. A lot of people start off at $5 and then upgrade to the 10 and 20 because of how much they enjoy it, which is really, really great. I'm very proud of that fact. And so if you guys are looking to get a little extra fun, a little extra excitement in your life, little something to lift you up, little positivity, something to make you think, something to brighten up your day, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. You're not going to regret it. Nobody's regretting it. All right? Everybody's loving it. Everybody's loving it. That's patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Just go download the app, type my name in the Find the Creators, man section, and you will find me, and you can sign up for as little as $5 a month. Do it now or die. Do it now or die. All right, great. Thank you very much. Let's keep moving. I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Corona! My niece always does that. At the slightest thought, or if someone sneezes, or, I don't know, farts. Corona! This is the littlest thing. I remember when the coronavirus was first coming about, when it was making its debut in America. Like the Beatles coming to America. Coronavirus's debut has been record-shattering. I just shat my pants. Record-shattering. And record shat. We got a record shat here today. 2-pounder. That's disgusting. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I remember when coronavirus just started being talked about. It had to have been February or March. It was just coming. It was like I said, it was making its debut. It was just starting to go on the global tour, and I was like introduced to it from a little kid. I was at the Y. I was at Tex Martial Arts, and he was my old Taekwondo teacher. One of the best dudes I know. One of the best people I know. I credit him and his other partners with instilling in me the idea of self-discipline at a really young age. I also attribute that to my parents who've worked. I've always just seen my parents working really hard their whole lives, and it's like, oh, you gotta work. That's what, like, you gotta work. There's nothing wrong with work. I'd rather work all day than be fucking lazy. But depends on your temperament. Are you high in conscientiousness? Are you low in neuroticism, extroversion? Like, there's all sorts of things that are way outside of my wheelhouse in explaining to you in an intellectual manner. And so, but I remember I was at a kickboxing class, and we were about to go in, and there's this girl. She was like 5 or 6 or 7, very young. And like the sweetest little voice, she's like, yeah, our classes are going to be stopping because of the coronavirus. And I was like, the what virus? The beer? No, not the beer. My dad likes that beer, but no, the virus. What virus? Started screaming at her. What are you, shaking her? No, I had heard of it, but it was, like I said, it was in the very beginning. And so, but I just remember that. I was like, this little girl knows more about, and then she was young. Like I said, 5, 6, 7. I was like, this little girl knows more about the coronavirus than I do. At that point, no one was taking it seriously because we didn't know what it was. And there was no shutdown yet. We still had our rights. Remember that? Remember when we could hang out? Go to restaurants and see each other? That was fun. Didn't think that would be taken away. Oh, it had to be. Did it? So I just remember thinking about that. I really, 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 really want to get back into kickboxing. Like, I really miss it. I want to go buy one of those like it's like a punching bag, but it's called a bob. B-O-B, bob. And it's a human punching bag. I mean, it's a punching bag that looks like a person. And I just want one of those because there's none at Anytime Fitness where I go, and my Taekwondo, the kickboxing class is still shut down as far as I'm aware because of COVID. And so I haven't been able to like punch anything in quite a few months. And I think punching the shit out of some stuff would do me some good. I think so. I think it would really, like, I get a lot of frustration out of working out. Like, I get, did I say that right? I get almost all my frustration out from working out. There we go. Like, I get all my aggression out, all my stress, all my worries and anxieties. Like, it goes into it's fuel for my workouts. And so I get a lot of that out. But there's something about fucking just going after a bag where you can let all that steam, like, you can just burn off all that steam, and you can really hammer all that stress out of you and all those extra worries and thoughts. It's like you're gonna feel way better after you do that. Your problems are it's gonna be completely, you're gonna see them from a completely different perspective. You're gonna see things from different angles. You're gonna see things in a new light. 'Cause if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in a new light. That's a good one. Yeah, if you give me just one night to meet you underneath the moonlight. Oh, I wanna take two. I wanna break through. New Light by John Mayer. A good song, but I didn't see that song blowing up the way it did. It's got like 400 million streams, more than any of his other tracks, which are really surprising. Anyway, when you can beat the shit out of something in a healthy manner and not hurt anybody along the way, like, you got to find ways to release your aggression. I talked about this in my Monday morning newsletter. The Monday morning message, which if you're interested in signing up, just go to my website, trevorolsen.com, and it's at the very bottom. And I send out a once weekly, succinct sort of something for that I need to, something that I'm thinking of and thinking of, basically. And yeah. So if you're interested in that, everyone digs that. And so last week I talked about integrating your shadow. And this really was, you know what? I'm going to pull it up because today's episode is a bit more serious. And we're talking about love and all sorts of fun things. And so, here we go. And this way you guys can get a taste of what it was. If you've already read it, fucking relax, okay? Deal with it. Here we go. Integrate your shadow. I'll try to blast through it because it's not very long. But here we go. So I'm going to read it to you because I integrate my shadow through fitness, if that's kind of a decent way to say it, sort of. Your shadow self should be integrated into your personality in general. And so I guess maybe I just get out a lot of aggression. I channel my aggression and that sort of darker side of me into my workouts. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, here's the Monday morning message newsletter for those of you who are not signed up. Hello, friends! A new idea was introduced to me at the beginning of this year, a foreign concept, or at least hearing it articulated the way that it was made it seem foreign. I dug a bit deeper to find out what was underneath the surface, but by no means am I an expert in what I'm going to share with you. However, I feel as though I can still hold my own and express it to you in a kind of sort of intellectual manner. The idea: integrate your shadow into your personality. I know what you're thinking. Integrate your shadow? What the hell does that mean, Trevor? Glad you asked. Integrating your shadow means integrating your aggression, your sexual demand, your proclivity to do horrible things, things that all human beings are capable of, by the way, and other dark aspects of yourself into your personality in a healthy and useful manner. Shadow integration is similar to assertiveness training, a type of training that tends to be useful for people who are high in agreeableness. Jordan Peterson said it nicely. It's training in how to stand up for yourself, for your better self, the self that you could use productively over a medium/long period of time that would be of use to you and other people around you. A lot of people feel that anger, aggression, and sexual demand are bad or immoral. I don't think this is the correct way to be looking at them. These parts of us are part of being human. We all have a darkness in us, and recognizing and understanding that darkness can help us keep an eye on it. It's people who have no control or understanding of their shadow who may find themselves suddenly acting out destructive fantasies, or the exact opposite, completely harmless and naive. Oh, did I say that right? Or the exact opposite, completely harmless and naive to the world. Now, I have to stress this again because I am no expert. I'm not saying to act out these dark impulses. This was like my fucking disclaimer. I'm not saying to act out these impulses. By no means. I'm saying that it's useful to have an understanding of them. I'm saying you have to get in touch with the depths of your anger so that you're in control of it, not the other way around. It's people who are in touch with this side of themselves who consciously choose not to act out these parts of themselves who are noble. So again, don't be a crazy person and blame Trevor. Thanks. Now, how do we start the process of integration? The best place is to begin by consulting your resentment. When you are resentful, it either means that you need to grow the hell up or that you have something to do or say. Determining how much of this may be immaturity and how much of it may be something that you feel isn't finished is something that you have to ask yourself honestly. Writing down your thoughts so that you can form a coherent narrative may be useful, and of course, speaking with a therapist has undeniable benefits as well. So these steps alone, consulting your resentment, determining if you are being immature or leaving something undone, writing out your thoughts, and speaking with someone in a professional capacity can lead to you having a more integrated personality. And lastly, and this is the point that I was getting to, lastly, I'd like to share one other idea with you how I personally deal with parts of my shadow. Most of you probably know that I am a gym addict. I'm a consistent 7 years in and can't get enough. I fuel my training with a lot of rage, anger, and aggression. I'm able to experience it, express it, and use it in a useful and healthy manner. This has helped me more than I can articulate, and I simply wanted to share that fact with you. If you're stressed, angry, bitter, resentful, furious, go train like a demon, and I promise you'll feel better. There will still be work to do, but at least you'll have a clearer headspace to work with. So integrate your shadow. Don't be naive and harmless. Stand up for yourself and take responsibility for your life and your actions. Understand there's a darkness inside of you, and it's important to get in touch with that darkness, integrate it into your personality, and have control over it. Boom. And so that's an idea of the Monday morning message. And so it's always just something to think about, something to ponder over for the week. Oh God, still need to go to the chiropractor. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because, like, that's one way that I experience and get completely. I allow my anger and rage to exist, my frustrations to exist. I don't run from them. A lot of people run from negative emotions. I just talked about this today, how we shouldn't deny our negative emotions because, or I talked about it yesterday rather, we shouldn't deny our negative emotions because if we deny them, they're just going to stay there. They're going to linger, and we're not going to grow from them, and we're not going to work through them. They're just going to be there like a fucking pile of paperwork we left unfinished. So don't deny your negative emotions. Don't run from things that make you feel bad. It's typical that things that are actually making you feel bad in the moment are going to probably be the most beneficial for you. It's like, it's hard to, it's hard. In the moment, it's hard to know if something is good or bad. And what do I mean by that? It's like pleasure, you would think, is good, right? And so if you're pursuing a hedonistic lifestyle where your main pursuit in life and your main purpose is the pursuit of pleasure, ask any drug addict how that went. Ask any sex addict how that went, how that worked out for them. Ask any, gluttonous person how their pursuit of pleasure worked out for them. It doesn't work out good. Pleasure's not bad, but if it's your main objective in life, it's not good. And then it's like pleasure is associated with good, and we're fucking bombarded with pleasure, like the pursuit of pleasure in America. It's like, buy this and feel better, do this and feel sexier, fuck this and you'll be good, you'll matter. And then it's like, say you start a business that you've been like putting off, something that you've been really wanting to do and you're passionate about it, and it's like you work at it for years and you fucking struggle and you get angry and you cry and you have doubts and you want to quit and you feel like a failure and a loser and you feel all these horrible things. But at the end of the day, as long as you keep moving forward and you push through, you're going to feel so much reward when you come out the other end and look back and go, shit, you know what? I made it through that fucking nightmare of a beginning and I'm here now and things are better. And it's like you go through all this horrible shit, all these frustrating things, all these difficult moments, which in the moment feel bad. And so you would assume that, well, if it feels bad, it must be bad. If it feels good, it must be good. But it's like, it's not, it's a great lesson to learn that adversity and challenges and difficult fucking tasks, as challenging as they may feel in the moment and as if they seem like impossible obstacles to overcome in the moment, when you do overcome them, it's like that's what it's about. It's not about the pursuit of pleasure all the time. I know a man who his main pursuit in life is to party. Like he's very lost. He's very lost. And it's really sad to see him. Like he's in his 60s. He's a person I know through a friend, and he's in his 60s, and it's like he's just trying to fucking party and he wants to hang out with young girls, and he's just doing all this stupid shit that it's like, dude, shouldn't you have learned 30 years ago that there's more meaningful things in life that will sustain you? So it was just sad to see him. Now, I don't know his life, and I don't know him. I do know him, but I don't know him the way he knows himself. And so I'm not judging this person because he's a good person. But I think it's pretty clear to see that the pursuit of pleasure is not what ultimately leads us to have meaning in life. It's clear that that's not the case. It's clear that that's not the case. It's not even like an argument. Life is not about pleasure and being happy. That's a great lesson to learn, by the way. Life's not about being happy. Happiness isn't like the greatest virtue. It's great to be happy. But like having purpose, having a conviction of purpose is much more meaningful than just pursuing happiness. And whenever you're not happy, you're going to feel like shit. Because if that's like the level you're trying to attain, like your perpetual guide for what the fuck am I saying? If that's what you're trying to hit all the time, every day, if you're here, happiness is here, and you're here, you're gonna be like, fuck, today was a failure because I didn't get to here, I was here. And so if you stop trying to make happiness your ultimate goal and focus more so on like meaning and purpose, like that's so much more meaningful and valuable than just being happy. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being happy. I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy dude. And it's because I have meaning and purpose that I feel happy, and I let all my frustrations out in the gym, and I take care of myself, and I eat as relatively healthy as I can, and I do all these other things on a biological level and an emotional and spiritual level to feel good. But ultimately, it's the challenge of continuing to do all these things that makes me feel good. And so, this was a very deep episode today, folks. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. I can't believe we're an hour in, just like that. I want to thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. A bit more introspective thinking episode today, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed having this conversation with you guys. And so, I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Again, I'd like you to reach out. Pardon me. If you'd like to reach out to the show, I'd like you to. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. That's the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. Send me your questions, your comments, your concerns, your needs to the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. That's like Trevor Ohlsen, like show, man.com, Gmail. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And again, if you enjoyed this episode and you guys want to hear a little more, you want a little something more from Uncle Trevor, what do you want from me? Sign up on Patreon at patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Gain access to the Saturday bonus Patreon edition episodes. Gain access to all the past ones, all the future ones for as little as $5 a month, guys. $5 a month. Even fucking broke college students, part-time workers can afford $5 a month. That's why I made it like that. And so sign up today. Get a little extra fun out of your week. And like I said, you can get the daily inspirational messages, early access to my music, autographed pictures with clothes on, handwritten letters, t-shirts, and opportunities to Skype with me, and top priority at live events as well, when the country opens up and we're allowed to have live events. And so I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for listening. Again, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Sign up for as little as $5 a month. A lot of people are signing up. A lot of people upgrade along the way because of how much they dig it. Everyone's loving it. I know you'll love it too. And so I'm always going to try my hardest to deliver the best content that I can for you guys. And this podcast rings true for me, and so does the music that's coming out as well. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourselves, and I will see all of you Saturday.